Hey, everybody, welcome to Coffee with John. Scott H. Silverman, crisis coach, family navigator. Scott, it's good to see you again. Part two of our three-part series. Scott is the author of The Opioid Epidemic, What You Don't Know Will Destroy Your Family and Your Life. And today we're going to talk about asking for help. You know, as a business coach, I find that when I talk to people, asking for help is something that they have a very difficult time with. And that's just business. And so I think in your world, it's even more serious of a thing. So, so can you talk a little bit about how somebody asks for help and how then when they ask, how to respond to that?
First and foremost, thanks for having me, John.
Yeah.
With this topic, according to a study I read, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, the idea of asking for help, three of the hardest words, think about it, in the English language is, I need help. Generally speaking, for someone to come out and verbally say that, express it out loud, they really have to be in a way that there is so much pain that there's nothing left to say other than, please pull the plug on me. I can't stand it anymore. And most people that are that far gone, they're still breathing and talking. And I really encourage families when they're at a point where they say, I don't know what to do, I need help. It's an opportunity to bring the information forward. And I was just talking to a family actually earlier today, a mom, and she said, we're trying this, we're trying that, and we're doing this, and we've done that. We want him to do this, and he won't do that. And I said, look, if your son had broken his arm, would you be sitting at the dinner table negotiating what you need to do next? You
Right.
would take them to the emergency room and you'd let the professionals do their thing. So when it comes to people that are self-medicating, when it comes to people that are addicted or suffering from substance use disorders, or their addiction has just taken over their life, whether at one level or many levels, they need help. So as a person who cares about them the most important thing that you can do, in my opinion, is first get informed. When I hear families say, I think they're doing this, this, and that, I said, have you done any investigation? Have you talked to clinical experts? Have you sought information? No. Well, go online and Google, how do I know if my son or daughter has an addiction? There's actually a questionnaire there. You can fill in yourself, but obviously at some point we'll try to get your loved one to take the test. And then it's not up to us because it's so opaque to decide whether someone has a problem or not, especially when they have a disease of denial, which means they're not going to admit they have a problem because that's part of what their mind tells them. I'm one of the 15% in this country that suffer from, this self absorbed addiction issue. And what happens is in our mind, we tell ourselves we're okay. Even when things have gotten bad, we've lost family, we've lost relationships, we've lost our home, we've lost our job, we still think it's not our fault. So that's the problem with the disease of addiction.
Yeah.
When it comes to diabetes, it's easy to diagnose. But when we have a family member with diabetes, we take them right to the doctor, get them tested, they have an intake assessment, and things move forward. So get informed. That's the best weapon you can possibly arm yourself with to deal with your loved one who has this issue.
I appreciate that and your insight as someone who was in recovery 37 years, and I appreciate everything that you have to say. I do want to end today with just going back to when someone does ask for help, how should the person respond? Because I think at some point, that person is in such a vulnerable state. I'm making this assumption that it's important for the person that they talk to respond back, not react, not right. So can you just kind of talk about the role of the receiver?
Well, let's make the assumption we're dealing with a family member who has no experience whatsoever, never had this in their family, never dealt with it. The first and foremost thing, the most important thing you can then do is say, look, I'm so grateful that you shared that with me, and I hear your vulnerability. I love you. I'm scared. We're going to figure this out together. Let's go online, or let me do some footwork. Let me find some options and opportunities. I'll come back with some information. We can review it together, and then let's make a phone. Let's call Scott. 619-993-2738. Let's call Scott and ask him what we should do next. Or, I've got a personal doctor that I love, I respect, and I care for. He's my general practitioner. Let's give her a call and find out what she says. Or let's call our rabbi, our pastor, our priest. Let's talk to them. Or you know what? I have somebody at my company who works in the EAP, Employment Assistance Program, whose job it is to know all the great resources around. I will go to them tomorrow confidentially, say I've got a friend, and let me get some resources together. And then if you're working together, it's so much easier because now you're on a fact-finding mission versus where you're normally at, where you're fighting with the addict or the addict's fighting with you. They don't think they have a problem. You're watching them slowly die. You want to help, but can't. So when someone says, I need help, trust me, that is a game changer, and embrace that and move forward.
Scott, thank you. We're going to finish part 3 of 3 this week as well, but tell people how they can connect with you and learn more about you and or buy your book.
Scott H. Silverman, Google me, 619-993-2738, yourcrisiscoach.com. The book is The Opioid Epidemic. You can find it on Amazon. That's the easiest, fastest way. And call me, 619-993-2738. I don't care where you are in the country or the world. I got a call today from London. I'm so excited to connect with them, but I'm not going to call them back and spend $8. I'll wait for them to call me. And just don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Scott, I appreciate your guidance, your wisdom. Think community, if you or anyone you know would benefit from Scott and his services, please reach out. Scott, give your cell phone one more time.
619-993-2738. If you forget that, just Google me, Scott H. Silverman. It's on the screen and you'll find me, and let's connect.
I appreciate it. Scott, thank you so much. Think community, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.